It's your girl Tabby with Tab Space, and welcome back. So I decided we're gonna do part one and part two. So part one was where I just cut it off. We're gonna start part two now. So let's get back into it. We're gonna fast forward a week from the last incident that happened where he saw somebody had reached out to me in the middle of the night and he got mad. So we fast forward a week because that next week wasn't ridiculously eventful. Um, I think we probably had a few incidences where he accused me of something stupid, and I just kind of I allowed it. I put up with it. I didn't say a ridiculous amount because, again, I don't want to get harmed myself, nor do I want any more of my property to be harmed. But the entire time, I'm losing feelings and I'm starting to realize that I'm going to have to make my great escape from this whole situation very shortly. But how I'm going to do that, I'm not too sure. That said, although I am slipping into being done, I'm not completely done. So there is a layer of, like, I got these rose colored glasses on a little bit. Because I have this idea that, like, as long as nothing like what he already did happens again, we'll be good. As long as he pays for the car like he said he was going to do, we'll be good. But if you've ever been in an abusive situation, you know you won't be good. Just because that last situation is no longer an issue right now does not mean that there won't be something else silly that happens a week down the line that's going to lead to them putting hands on you or them doing something crazy. So, mind you, he hadn't put his hands on me at this point. He had just um damaged my car. He did something else that was disrespectful, but I won't get extremely into that cuz like it's embarrassing. Like embarrassing. He humiliated me and he did something that was so beyond disrespectful, like I can't even discuss it. But that said, as far as physically putting hands on me, at this point, this hasn't happened. So, one day after work, we go to his area, his hood, and he wants to finally let me join the cked. And I should have realized in this moment that this was a test because we've been coming here for like 3-4 weeks at this point. Not at one point have you asked me to get out of the car and come join you to do whatever it is that you do while you're here. So now today, all of a sudden, you want me to get out of the car and join you to do what it is you're doing. Huge red flag. If an abusive person starts to do something completely out of the ordinary, think about it and consider if it might be a test. Because this was a test. This man, I probably was outside for about an hour, hour and a half, talking, blowing trees, whatever the case may be. At one point, somebody had said something funny and everybody laughed at it, but this man starts looking at me crazy. Like, he's just looking at me like, oh, really? And he can't even hold it in and wait until we walk away. Like, he literally immediately is like, oh, really? We smiling in people's faces? And I'm just like, huh? Like, what do you mean? Like, you just got done laughing as well. Is that smiling in people's faces? Like, I'm confused. I thought that there was a joke that was funny and we all laughed at it. I guess he thought I was doing the most. I mean, yeah, I get it. There are times where females do the most when they're around men. They get to hee-hee-ha, like, just be an extra with it. But I don't believe in that instance that that's what I was doing. I was just laughing and then keeping it pushing. He gets to going off. You shouldn't be smiling in other men's faces and da-da-da-da-da. You know, really, you about to play with me like this? Da-da-da-da-da. He just gets to tweaking. And I'm just like, how did we get here? Like, we just went from 0 to 100 so fast. Like, so at this point, I'm just like, all right, time for me to shut up. Probably about time for us to go. One of his friends had looked at him, and I liked his friend because he actually had some sense to him. He would always be like, bro, you chill out. Like, you're tripping. Like, why are you doing all that? But he had looked at him and he was like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you flipping out on her like that? Why are you treating her like that? And in front of people too, he was like, one of these days you're going to lose this girl. She treats you so well and you don't do nothing but dog her every opportunity that you get. And so that kind of opened my eyes to realize, like, oh, not only do you dog me to my face, you dog me behind my back as well to these people. Got it. Got it. So after he had said that, I'm like, bet. I'm in the car. I'm quiet. I want to say at this point, he had said that we needed to leave because he was so mad that I was smiling in men's faces. So we were in the car at the point where his friend was telling him to chill out and that, he was going to lose me and stuff like that. So he walks back. The dude walks back into the house. My dude at the time, he looks at me and he's like, he thinks I'm like smiling and I'm happy. Somebody finally defended me. So he looks over at me and he's like, don't get all happy just because he said all that. He don't know what he's talking about. You're this and you're that, just degrading me from that moment forward. And I'm just like, okay. I think that he's mad because his authority was being checked in that moment. And I'm the reason the authority was being checked. So screw me in this moment. So, of course, this brings back the anger of last week's situation. And then the anger of the whole idea that the conversation that I had with my ex was more than what it really was. So now we're back to the original conversation about the phone call that happened the night that he came to my house. And he just gets to questioning me again about the whole situation. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I already made it very clear I do not want to have this conversation again. My items have been destroyed and I've been humiliated behind this whole conversation. I've said everything that could possibly be said. I have told the story back, forth, middle to beginning to end. Like, I have told this story so many times. My story has never changed. It's always been the same thing. And every time I say anything about it, I'm getting attacked. And I don't want to go there. So, mind you, we're on our way home at this point. And this is when I shut down. This is the point where I'm like, you know what? Don't say shit. Because if anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of Coca-Cola. Straight up. Nothing I say is going to get me anywhere. So I be quiet and I say I'm about to shut down. I don't have nothing else to say about the situation. We've already like talked this into the ground, and again, a piece of my property is damaged behind this conversation. I'm not having it again. I'm not doing it. So we finally get home, and mind you, I probably got asked 1,000 questions. Hold on, y'all. I probably got asked 1,000 questions between East Cleveland and my house 15 to 20 minutes away. So, of course, I'm fed up. I look irritated, and I haven't said anything the whole car ride home. We get in the house. I go to lay down because I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally and physically exhausted. I work a physically demanding job. We're doing a lot of overtime at this point in the year because it is winter, and winter is what's called, I'm not even going to say what it's called. Winter is where we get busy at that warehouse, and I was tired. I was tired for two different reasons. So I'm laying down. He's still going. He drank so much Coca-Cola. He had to have drank so much Coca-Cola. It ain't even funny the way that this man is going on a tirade, y'all. So basically, he gets to a point. I think he's finally tired of hearing himself talk. So he says, you know what? Matter of fact, take me home. I'm done. And ooh, when I tell you I ain't never jumped out of the bed so freaking fast in my life, y'all, I got up out that bed so fast, was getting ready to take this man home because I was so done. All the love had dissipated because now you disrespected me. Because mind you, while he is interrogating me, he's also calling me a B word and a 304 and everything in the book to try to degrade me and make me break down and be down on myself. So once I stand up, he's like, oh yeah, I knew it. Da 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 da. See, now you want to stand up. Now you want to respond. All this and all that. So now he's like amping up. He's amping up to a point where like he's starting to seem like he might do something crazy. So I'm still not saying much. I get up. I'm brushing my teeth. He comes up behind me. This man put his hands on me. He stops putting his hands on me, and I'm shocked because I'm just like, oh word, this what we doing? Like, you putting hands on me now over something we've already discussed numerous times. You've already agreed that we were not going to come back to and rediscuss and re-argue about and all this stuff. Now you putting hands on me because I don't want to keep rehashing the same disagreement. Okay. So I go and I sit back on the bed because at this point I'm like, are you going home or are you trying to like get rid of me? Cuz like what's going on now? The whole point of me getting up was so that way we could take you home. Now you want to put hands on me because I'm still not going to feed into the conversation. I already made it very clear I'm not going to feed into. So then he grabs my phone. He's yelling. He takes the phone, he throws it, chucks it into the wall. Now, my walls here are thin. If you live in a trailer, the walls are thin. You can easily punch through a wall. So, when he threw my phone, that bitch went through the wall and it ricocheted from the wall back onto the floor. So, you can imagine it was broken. It was destroyed, shattered, done, over with. So, I'm like, so now you're gonna put hands on me and you're gonna damage my property. You really trying to get rid of me, huh? All right, y'all. I gotta take a break. I'm gonna finish this video once I get back from work, and I think we will be done once I record this last portion. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will be back. All right, y'all. So I know you're just about as ready to be, at the end of this story and to the point as I am. So let's get there. So, mind you, this man has taken my phone, he's chucked it at the wall, he's broken it, it's shattered. Um Now I'm I'm contemplating, I'm thinking like, all right, what am I going to do? There's not a ridiculous amount of stuff that I really can do in this moment because he has the power. He's got the age, he's got the experience. He's got the strength. He has everything that he needs to remain in control of this situation. So finally, I think he just gets tired of yelling at me and me not saying a whole lot. And obviously, like at this point, tears are falling because why are you doing me like this? Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I've been through some breakups before, but I hadn't necessarily experienced where the whole reason why you're acting crazy and being abusive towards me is because of a delusion. And you believe that delusion wholeheartedly. So finally, we get to the point where we about to get to the car. We're about to walk to the car so that way we can take him home. I had the keys in my hand. He comes up real quick. He snatches the keys out of my hand. When I tell y'all, the moment he snatched them keys out of my hand, I just started praying and pleading with God. Just please get me home in one piece, God. I don't, at this point, my property's damaged. Multiple pieces. Multiple pieces of my property are damaged at this point. I've had hands put on me, and I don't genuinely know if I'm going to get back home, like what this man's gonna do. So we're in the car, and he starts interrogating me again, just going, interrogating me, degrading me, just all of it, back to back to back. And I'm just sitting there and I'm listening, I'm taking it all in. All I can think about is once you drop this man off, you don't ever have to deal with this again. So I want to say maybe 10 minutes went by of him just going on a tirade, and then finally he looks at me and he was like, he said something along the lines of like, nobody's ever gonna play with me again like this, or something to that extent, something crazy. So I basically was like, you know what? And I don't know why this is the first thing I cocked my mouth to say. I should have just kept my mouth shut. But the first thing I said was, I'm gonna just be honest. I think that the situation is just toxic, for both of us, and I think that what like we just need to get you where you know what I mean, where you feel comfortable, where you belong, and go our separate ways. That stirred up the demons in that man, y'all. That man was so angry the moment that that came out of my mouth. What are you talking about? Who are you calling toxic? You're toxic. Actually, matter of fact, admit it. Admit that you're toxic and this is your fault. Y'all, if a person ever goes out of their way to prove that you're at fault for something, they are probably not it. Yes, there's a level of accountability and responsibility you should take in a disagreement. But when a person goes out of their way to prove that it's all your fault in a argument, especially a disagreement that landed in not only you damaging one piece of property, but at least two. Like, okay. So basically at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, we can't even listen to the radio right now because my radio is busted out. Why am I toxic? Man, I should have, like I said, I should have kept my mouth shut. I shouldn't have said nothing because that was the beginning of the end of that car. He looks at me and he was like, "Say it. Say that you're toxic. Say that you're toxic." And I looked at him and I was like, we were stopped at a red light at this point. I looked at him and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna say that." Like at this point, I've had enough. I've had enough of being degraded. I've had enough of the abuse all around. The last thing that I'm gonna do is give you another thing to feel as though you've won. You've already won. You got it, broski. You you damaged all my property. You have degraded me to the point where I should feel like I'm nothing. You've done enough. I'm not gonna give you this one last W. And I should have given him his one last W. Really, I should have, because had I not felt that way and let my pride get in the way, that car probably would have never gotten wrecked. So, anywho, the man looks at me and he says, "Oh, really? Okay, bet." We're at a red light. You got the pole that the red light sits on. The whatever. I don't know what the heck that's called. This man looks me in my eyes. He looks back over at that the post of the red light. Smash. Just smashed right into the car, right into the pole. Now, normally this probably wouldn't have been such an issue, but it just so happened that there was something on that pole. What was on it? I don't know. It looked like a big, like, fat ass piece of metal that was sitting on top of it. So when he hit the pole, the car the car was okay, but the thing fell off the top of the pole and smacked the hood. When it hit the hood, it ricocheted off the hood and went boom, boom, and smacked my windshield. So now my windshield is destroyed, y'all. If I can find pictures of the windshield, I will put them over here. If I can't, sorry, but y'all, when I say I was so freaking shocked in that moment, I could not even say anything. I think that as he was about to wreck the car, I was like, no. And then when he did that, I just sat there and I was like, okay, this what we doing? Bet. So I shut up. I just immediately I shut up. I don't have nothing else to say. He looks at me, he's like, yeah. He's like, I can't even remember what he said. Something along the lines of like, just know you'll never play with somebody like me again or something like that. And I'm just like, I don't want to. That's what I'm thinking in the back of my head. I do not want to. The last thing I want to do is date anybody in this moment. Like, I'm gonna have to pay an arm and a leg not only to fix my phone, but also to fix my car. And at this point, I just want to make sure you don't do anything else to physically harm me. Cause I'm done. Like, I'm cool. I'm straight. This is over. It's wraps. I would never want to mess with somebody like this man again. So he drives the rest of the way back to his crib, unloads the car. The moment that that man got out that front seat, when I tell y'all I jumped over the seat like a damn cartoon character. I ain't never done no stuff like that before in my life. But I knew I had to immediately get the heck up out of there. I don't know who you know out here. You could be setting me up. And even if you're not, you've already wrecked all of my things. I gotta go. So I drive off real quick, call my dad to the rescue. Within a week, the windshield ends up getting fixed. I go back to work, not that next day, but the day after, or maybe the Monday after. The job ended up firing him for what he had done to me. Um, they kind of like escorted him out when he came back. He had left his vehicle there. The whole time that we were talking, he left his vehicle there. So it had probably sat for like a month or so. And it was wintertime and it was already messed up. So as you can imagine, after about a month of the truck sitting there, they towed the truck and that was the end of him. Um, it took me months to feel comfortable going in public places. It took me, even at work, I always had this idea like he's gonna come back and he's gonna retaliate. I had to reclaim my power and I had to get over paranoia. I had to get over the fear of, is this person gonna show up at my house and do something even more crazy? So if you're younger and you're dealing with older men or just older people in general, it could be older men or older women, because I don't ever want y'all to think that it's just men and that women don't manipulate and malign and do evil things just as well as these men will, because they will. But if you're younger and you're dealing with an older person, pay attention to the warning signs. There were multiple red flags from the beginning of this story that should have indicated to me I had no business dealing with that man, but I still did it. And did I really know what red flags to look for in a person at 18, 19 years old? Heck no. You usually don't. You usually have to bump your head a few times and get into a few not so good relationships before you realize, oh, this is what I will not put up with. This is what I'll allow. And this is what I need from my partner. If you're young and dumb, just be young and dumb and enjoy being young and dumb. Like, honestly, unless you meet your soulmate, dating can start to get in the way. It can start to get in the way of you living your life to the fullest. So I hope that y'all enjoyed my story time. I hope that y'all took something out of it. I would love it if y'all would get in my comments and let me know what y'all thought. Where you think that I could have, you know what I mean, done better. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'll see y'all next time on Tab's Storytime Space. Bye.